you. First of all, I'd just like to start by thanking you for this invitation to the conference. I'd just like to talk about Egypt. It's a real locomotive of the Mediterranean region, as well as Northern Africa. Especially over the last 2 years, it's been a real locomotive for the whole of Africa. Over the last year, it has superseded Nigeria as the country which has raised the most funds for businesses and startups. That's quite an important statistic. I'm not sure if it's necessarily about a secret source. I think there's been a very intelligent work that's been done for a long time that has helped bring out a digital ecosystem that is so well structured now. When you have a market of 100 million people, there are obviously many different opportunities for entrepreneurs to get involved with. In Egypt, we have a very young population. 30% of the population is between 15 and 30 years old, and they have a very tech-minded mindset to business. Things like the penetration of internet and mobile telephones have really played a crucial role in improving things recently, because there's actually quite a high rate of unemployment amongst the youth. However, the opportunities are definitely out there. The thing is, obviously, we need to have other elements in the mix. If we were to look at the ecosystem of Cairo, it's obviously one of the central ecosystems in the country. We are able to see that it's really like a catalyst for accelerating other ecosystems that surround it. There's a group of business angels that come together and have started the first sort of venture capital movement, which is now very solid. It's still developing, but has a very solid foundation and is becoming very powerful. We have foreign investors as well in the Gulf that see Egypt as the center of their mandate. At the same time, there is the private sector alongside the public sector, which is trying to implement different regulations into the Egyptian picture. Obviously, these are many different ingredients which make Egypt a very attractive place. And perhaps I just finish by talking about the COVID situation, because there are these very strong fundamentals in Egypt. What's happened is that, well, actually, our contribution to African tech has increased to try and offset some of the negative effect that COVID has had. Not only has Egypt resisted the impact of COVID, it is also accelerated. You're right. We have only $19 million which have been raised throughout Morocco, Tunisia, and Algeria. But in Egypt, the picture is a lot more positive. There's been a lot more money has been raised. I'd just like to tell you about some of the elements to explain this. The number of inhabitants in Egypt, 100 million people, is the same as the rest of the Maghreb region. In Egypt, there have been new policies that have come out to foster new opportunities in digital technology. The thing is, when you have such a large population, this means that there are constraints for entrepreneurs. It can sometimes make it difficult for entrepreneurs to come up with solid ideas to really implement on the market. However, we've been thinking in Egypt, many entrepreneurs are thinking about a cross-border approach now to try and open up new opportunities. It's a lot more difficult than it sounds, though. In the rest of Maghreb, young people are a lot less business-minded than in Egypt. In Egypt, the young people are very well educated. They have access to very good universities. And therefore, this has given them an advantage, really, on the international scale. They have a lot more opportunities to find work. And what this means is that the risk which entrepreneurs need to be taking is sometimes a lot trickier because it's not always easy to generate revenue. It's more difficult for young people, young business-minded people to start businesses because the risks don't necessarily always outweigh the benefits. It's a very tricky situation. And yet, if anyone is brave enough to launch themselves onto the national and international market, then there are opportunities nonetheless. They just have to take the plunge. The profitability is the insurance of scalability. It's obviously because we want to finance profitable business models which are coherent for the region and that will hopefully have a huge impact. What I've been saying in any case is that this transformative dynamic that digital tech has brought along is really being implemented more and more over the last 4 or 5 years. There are current perspectives and future perspectives which, in my opinion, are unequal compared to the rest of the planet. And if I were to just give a few points to explain that, in Africa, business people are not going about trying to find niche markets or niche opportunities. What they're doing really more is looking at the new uses people have on digital technology and trying to integrate them in as profitable way as possible into their business models. These are colossal markets and colossal opportunities that they have. Digital tech is transforming anything and everything from education, energy, health. All of these sectors which structure the economy are being currently transformed by digital tech startups. And that's something which is incredibly important. The thing is, as well, another aspect that people need to take into consideration is that simply copying and pasting other ways that business models are going about doing things in other countries into Egypt is not necessarily the way of going about things. It's not necessarily going to have the right result, which means that Egypt is coming up with new ideas to lead the way in terms of business models that will work on a local scale. Energy access is also being governed by digital tech. What this means is that it's inspiring young entrepreneurs to come along and say, okay, I want to come up with an idea to solve this problem. I want to come up with an idea to solve that problem. And the thing is, 5 years ago, we had almost no investment in the African continent, and now we have over $5 billion. This is even more, this is a growth trend that is even greater than in the CPAC region. And therefore, I think that there is no reason that there should be an upper limit to this. The situation that is currently in place is something that we've never seen across the history of the rest of humanity. You should also keep in mind that 40% of the world population is in Africa. And therefore, the opportunities are huge, huge, despite the structural problems in Africa. The opportunities are nonetheless there. It's really like a playground for new startups